Welcome back to the woods and welcome back to episode 2 of the turf roof Viking house. This time I've brought Dad along. He's just over there doing no work. No, he's having a soup. We've been here for a few hours now. There's actually part 2 in a way of this episode because I was here the other day just putting on the rafters. I'm going to take you around a little bit of what we're doing in a minute. But just want to say thanks to everyone who watched part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to watch it, there's a link up here somewhere. And today we are basically finishing the frame, the roof, the rafters, ready for that turf roof, which is something that I've been really excited about doing. So that will be probably in the next episode. This episode is all about the frame and the roof itself. There's plenty of things to explain. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much for tuning in. Let's get cracking. Here is Mr. TA Fishing, wearing his totally awesome fishing top, sitting on some pallet wood. What a surprise.
Yeah, that's right. It's only 3 years old and it's not rotted out.
What do you think, Dad, of
the pallet wood seat? Very good.
This new shelter, inspired but not historically correct, by the Icelandic style turf roof Viking houses? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good shape. I don't dislike the shape because you can stand up in the middle and you can sleep down the back end here.
Yeah.
You could probably put stuff there. You've got a bit of an overhang at the front, so you know, when you turf it, you could always have a door somewhere, I guess.
I think so, yeah, you could do.
I don't know what we do inside, but we'll lash the top piece together because you've got one side, that's what we call asymmetric. One side is longer than the other.
Oh, Dad, be careful, you get headaches soon.
I can't spell it, though. It's asymmetric, so it's still got the triangular shape, but not with the bottom base there.
Yeah.
So it still be strong, and we're going to lash those two just like this. They're like fingers, the ends of the what do you call it?
Here we go.
Hazel. It's a woman's name. I knew I'd remember it. They cross like that, so we're going to lash those two so it can't slide apart there, and just do various whipping throughout.
So what we figured is, because where we're building this, and the reason why I say it's not historically correct is because all of this, the kind of frame foundation with the Icelandic style Viking houses, is built with stone. Now look at this woodland, there's no stone around. The only stone is from our fire pit, which isn't from this particular woodland. So there's no stone around. We're trying to use a mixture of resources from here, and if we have to go a little bit further, we'll go there. But to be able to get stone in this woodland is very, very difficult because it's so dense. So we have gone for more of a timber frame structure, which again is not like the Icelandic style houses. Where it is going to be linked is the roof, hence why the series is called Turf Roof Viking House. The roof is going to be turfed, hopefully, and we are hoping to use the turf from the surrounding woodland. Now we have, to get the turf to sit on the rafters, it would just fall up through otherwise. We have what is called a hazel hurdle. So it's basically hazel. It's a species of tree here in the UK which grows relatively quickly. It does well when it's coppiced and cut, which is why it's cut very small and very thin, because it regrows quite quickly, and multiple shoots generally come out one stump or stool. So these have been made a couple of months ago. They are relatively easy to make, but they are quite time consuming. In fact, they're very time consuming to make, and I will show you guys how to make these in a separate episode. I just didn't want to film making, like I say, let's not pull the wool over your eyes. There's no hazel in this woodland. It's all pretty much Scots pine. So this has come, the hazel itself has come from, got this from a separate woodland. So I'll tell you how to make those, or show you how to make those in a separate episode. But what it means is we can put layers of soil and then turf on top of this, and it should stop everything falling through because there's very little gaps. I know there's gaps in it, but there's very little gaps. Otherwise I'd have to get loads and loads of rafters, and it would end up putting a lot of weight on the structure, and because it's a low pitch, that wouldn't be ideal once the turf's on top. That's going to then potentially fall down, and we don't want that. So you can see I've gone for a slightly different shape here. No particular reason, just something a little bit different. So I've got the rafters going all the way down to the forest floor on this side, and only halfway down on this side, just to create something a little bit different. And it does mean I then have to use less materials on this side and less turf. It's just, again, something a little bit different. Still got some smaller, I've got those smaller hazel hurdles to put up on this side. These rafters are just, you can see, they're just lashed on, just a small lashing, and I made them flush at the top and lashed them at the top as well. the hazel hurdles themselves are also being lashed to the frame. And the reason that I'm lashing it instead of, you know, really securing it down is because all that weight of the turf, when it gets on there, and even the hazel hurdles, they're quite heavy, that's going to keep all that pinned down anyway. So I don't need to be using big, huge, strong pieces of rope. I know that just the simple lashing and the weight of the turf on top will help keep it all down. That's pretty much the style of the frame that I'm going for. We've still got to put the hazel hurdles from this side up, lash them together like Dad says right at the top, and then get that turf on top in the next episode, and hopefully we'll have ourselves a Viking turf roof house. So this is where we've got to for today, for this episode. We've lashed 4 hazel hurdles here. These are 6 foot by 6 foot ones. And then 2 6x4s. 6 foot by 4 foot here. Sadly, I didn't get the measurement right on that one to make it a bit longer, but it is what it is. I don't mind a little bit of an overhang like that on the rafters. It's probably going to give it a unique look to the structure. But that's what it looks like. It's actually a bit more roomier in here than I thought. Obviously lots of holes at the moment because, you know, we've got to turf it, but hopefully that should be, this soil is quite binded together by a lot of roots and things like that, so hopefully just a little bit below this it's all kind of a bit more binded together. It is all peat at the moment. This top layer is all peat, so it's quite spongy. Doesn't kind of glue together, but it should be interesting. I'm guessing it's quite acidic, but there is, you can see in the distance there, a little bit of turf and grass growing out in that little clearing opening over there. Generally you see the deer come through. Look at the lovely autumn colours starting to come through. Looking good. So plenty of space as well for storage and sleeping areas. Got the fire pit out there. You could have either the entrance in this side or that side, I'm not sure yet. Head height wise, I'm now standing in it, and I've probably got another foot to half a foot above me, so it's probably about 6 foot, just over maybe. So plenty of headroom to be able to walk in. Like I say, it's probably a one-man shelter, but it's coming along good. So with regards to the timber frame, these upright posts and beams, those you can watch in episode 1. I could have made it a bit more of a box frame structure. I'd certainly need to add in some wind braces and some supports across here, perhaps some diagonal supports as well, because at the moment that's probably not too sturdy. It will be when it's got the weight of the turf on top, but it definitely needs more braces, more supports, and just a bit more of a triangle shape coming across to make it a bit more rigid, a bit more secure. And the beech trees over here in this other woodland are going a really nice colour. The oak is only just starting to go. There's a big oak here, it's only just turning, but the beech trees have pretty much all lost their colour. What do you think, Dad?
I think it's time we can move on and get some work done here.
We'll start the next episode.
I think so. I think we're going to crack on here.
You happy with the roof so far there?
Yeah, structure's all there.
Yeah.
It's all solid, it's all structurally sound at the moment.
There's going to be a lot of weight on there, but
There will be, yeah, but it'll take it. It's spread, don't forget.
Yeah.
It's a shallow ridge, isn't it? The
Yeah.
actual slope is quite relatively shallow.
And I guess we'll build up from the turf from the bottom upwards, work our way up to the top.
Yeah.
That way it can all the pressure will just lean down on those bottom supports. I did stake in the hazel hurdles here at the bottom so that any weight that's coming down there, these won't slide any further into the ground and leave holes in the roof. Well, that's it for episode 2 of the turf roof Viking house series. I hope you're enjoying it. It's been good fun. It's good to have Dad here as well, actually, because we tend to get a lot more work done with the two of us. Like I say, I'll show you how to make these hazel hurdles in another episode, but for the next one we're going to be sourcing the turf. We probably need to put maybe a thin layer of peat or soil on the top first, just to give the turf something to grow into. We only have a finite resource of turf in this woodland, so we're going to do our best. It's probably not going to look pretty, but at the end of the day, this is kind of the vision of the structure that I had. Certainly the frame is exactly how I imagined it. The roof, you know, hopefully it does grow into the roof. I don't know too much about turf roof on buildings and things like that. I've never been experienced in doing that sort of thing. But hey, this is a test, and hopefully it comes out okay. There's only going to be a few more in this series. It's not going to be as big as the Saxon house and the other Viking house. We hope to get this finished fairly quickly, and then we can spend some time camping in these overnight, this one and the Saxon house, and maybe doing some more tweaks to the little village that we've got around here. But thank you so much for watching this episode. I do appreciate it, guys. And if you're interested in perhaps supporting the channel, there's a link to the merchandise, the TA Fishing and the TA Outdoors merchandise, linked to our shop below. Feel free to get any merchandise through that link, and it helps to support us and the channel so we can continue to make these awesome videos for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Also check out Dad's channel, TA Fishing, link to that in the description. Cheers for watching, and we'll see you guys in episode 3.